This video will serve as a demonstration of the DOT 406 loading and unloading procedure. At the end of this video, you should have a good idea as to how to load and unload a petroleum fuel trailer. Please note that there are two main types of controllers on petroleum trailers, a toggle style, which our driver here will demonstrate, and a push-pull style. During this loading and unloading video, we will attempt to show you both styles when different actions must be taken for each type. As always, let's address safety first. We will go over general safety guidelines because, after all, you will be loading a trailer with a volatile liquid, and there's a way to do this safely to protect you, those around you, and the environment. Each terminal will have detailed guidelines, and since you may be loading at different terminals, you should know each terminal's specific policies, as well as any company policies for your employer. First, as you pull up to the terminal, follow any guidelines regarding static dissipation. You should check each wheel and tire to ensure that they are not extremely hot, like when brakes are overheated, before you pull up to the loading area. Go ahead and set your placards to the type of product you will be loading. In this case, we will be loading both diesel and unleaded fuel, so we'll use a 1203 DOT classification, the placard for the fuel with the lowest flash point. Next, set your product identification markers or roto tags on each compartment to correspond with where you will load each product. Then, enter the terminal loading bay spot per the terminal regulations. Be sure that the area is clear and that all loading arms have been pushed out of the way. Always obey posted speed limit signs while moving around on terminal property. Be sure that the load bay area is clear and that all loading arms have been pushed out of the way. You will secure the trailer by setting the tractor-trailer brakes and shutting off the tractor engine. Turn off all electronic equipment and verify that the emergency shutoff valve is in the normal operating position. At the terminal where this was filmed, one of their requirements is to ensure that there is available fuel allocation before you hook anything up. This is called carding in. Our driver is doing that now. He is entering his ID numbers and the customer number. The system confirms the customer's address and fuel quantities to be loaded. The driver can now assign the appropriate products to the loading arm meters. At some terminals, you may perform this step once your vapor recovery and loading arms are attached. The very first connection is the overfill detection grounding cord. This must be connected to the correct socket and you must receive rack permission to load. This is indicated by some sort of signal, in this case, a green light, and it should be displayed somewhere in the loading area. Each loading terminal will be different in how it does this, but you must ensure that your trailer is permitted before you continue. If not permitted, then you need to disconnect, exit the loading rack, and park in a terminal-approved parking area to further diagnose the issue. Never attempt to perform trailer diagnostics or repairs while in the loading rack. Next, connect the vapor recovery hose per terminal regulations and open the vapor recovery vents by using the master air control valve if you have a push-pull system. If the API connection has a sight glass, check it to see if there is retain in the compartment. If so, do not load. Next, raise the trailer guard bar if equipped, and connect the correct loading arm to the compartment's API coupler by sliding the collar forward and pulling down on the handle. These arms can be heavy, so try to push the coupler rather than pull it, and sidestep your hoses to ensure that you don't trip. Once the loading arm has been attached, you may open the compartment like our driver is doing here, or with the push-pull type, you will open each compartment emergency valve by using the operator air control valve as shown. Set the amount of fuel to be loaded in the terminal interface and initiate the loading sequence. Once the loading has completed, look for confirmation on the terminal interface. In this case, our user interface says Batch Complete. Use the valve toggle or push-pull controller to close the emergency valve, then move the handle up, slide the collar back, and remove the loading arm. Push the arm to its storage location and secure it. Replace the dust cap on the loaded compartment to remind you that you've already loaded this compartment. Repeat these steps for each compartment and product. Leave your vapor hose attached and connect the next arm to the compartment to be filled. As before, once the arm has been attached, you may open the compartment like our driver is doing here, or with the push-pull type, you will open the compartment valve by using the operator air control valve as shown. If you are connecting multiple loading arms, always finish the initialization process with one arm and begin filling before initiating a second arm to ensure that you are keeping the correct product in the correct compartment. After all loading is complete, with a push-pull system you will shut the master air valve, remove the product arms, secure them out of the way, and replace all API dust caps. Next, remove the vapor recovery hose and secure it. Finally, remove the ground cord and secure it. Be sure to complete the transaction on the terminal interface and get 3 copies of the bill of lading, one for your records, one for the customer, and one to turn in with your paperwork. Be sure to sign your bill of lading before leaving the terminal. In the second part of this video, we will demonstrate how a load of fuel is dropped at a retail fueling station. First, the driver must maneuver his tractor so that the petroleum trailer is close to the tank pad. The tank pad is the area of the lot where you will find the tank fill and vapor ports. Normally, the fill and vapor ports will follow the PEI color pattern shown here. The driver should position the trailer so that it can make a fuel drop, but it doesn't seriously affect the flow of site traffic if possible. The driver should turn off the engine and turn off all electrical equipment. Once parked, the driver should confirm that this is the correct location and how much ullage each tank has. Ullage is the amount of empty space in the tank. If the station has an automatic tank gauge, the driver will either print out an inventory report or he will ask the attendant to do it for him. Once he has this report in hand, he can compare the actual empty space in the tank to the amount of fuel being dropped to be sure that there is enough room. Next, the driver will position his safety cones so that he will block traffic over the area where the fill and vapor ports are located. It's a good idea to place your cones so that they are too close together for a car to pull between them. First, he will attach his vapor hose to the vapor adapter on the trailer. Since diesel fuel underground storage tanks do not have a vapor port, the vapor hose will only be attached to non-diesel USTs. Our driver will first drop diesel, so he will leave the trailer vapor vent open during the diesel drop. Be sure when measuring the level with a stick not to drop it and let it strike the bottom of the tank. This can damage a fiberglass tank. Once it is confirmed that the tank has the ullage that appears on the report, he can begin to drop fuel. If the load won't fit, the driver should contact his dispatcher before dropping any fuel. The driver next attaches the drop elbow to the appropriate fill adapter and then attaches the product hose to the elbow before connecting the product hose to the trailer. He will remove the dust cap from the API adapter and attach the product hose to it. If the trailer is equipped with push-pull controls, he will open the master air control valve and confirm that the vents are open. Once he has checked one final time that the product being dropped is connected to the correct fill adapter and that his drop elbow is securely attached to the fill port, he will flip the toggle for the compartment, or with the push-pull system, he will pull the compartment operator knob. When he opens the API head, fuel will begin to flow into the UST. The driver should confirm that there are no leaks as the fuel drop completes. Please note that a driver should never leave the area while a fuel drop is taking place. You should always stay close enough to the trailer so that you can mitigate any leaks or spills and shut off the flow of fuel if any issues arise. Since our driver has completed his diesel delivery, he will now connect his vapor hose to the UST via a vapor recovery elbow because he is preparing to drop unleaded fuel, which requires a vapor hose. Before connecting the elbow to the tank port, though, he will connect the vapor hose to the truck so that any vapors will not be vented to atmosphere. Remember, when connecting the product hose, connect the elbow end first and then the trailer end. With the vapor hose, it's just the opposite. Connect the trailer side first and then the vapor elbow end. Once he connects the vapor hose, the tank level can equalize in the drop tube and he can stick the tank to ensure that there's enough room for the load of fuel that he has on the trailer. Remember your ergonomics when moving around hoses with fuel still in them. Fuel weighs about 6 to 7 pounds per gallon, and these drop hoses can hold quite a few gallons. After ensuring that all of the fuel is out of the hose, close the compartment toggle, or with the push-pull system, push in the compartment operator knob to close it. Move the elbow with the hose attached to the next tank fill adapter, being sure not to spill any residual fuel. Move the product hose to the next API head and replace the dust cap on the compartment that you're finished with. Before opening the compartment, confirm that the fuel being dropped is correct. Then either flip the toggle or with a push-pull system, pull the compartment operator knob. Slowly open the API head with the lever and watch for any leaks in the hose during the fuel drop. While the fuel drops, you can return to your first drop location and confirm the stick reading and that the correct amount of fuel was dropped. Then you can replace the fill adapter cap. If the site uses locking mechanisms on their caps, you will need to replace those as well. Repeat the process for all additional compartments. Flip the toggle back off at the end of the drop, or with the push-pull system you will push in the operator knob to close the compartment. Once all fuel has been dropped with the push-pull system, you will close the master control air valve. Put the product in vapor hoses and elbows back in the trailer. Confirm that the dropped fuel amount is correct with the stick. Replace all fill and vapor caps at the tank and secure locking mechanisms if they are present. Be sure to clean up any spills with an improved drying agent. Retrieve your traffic cones, being sure to watch for traffic as you do so. Once you've put all of them away, you should return to the automatic tank gauge and print out another inventory report. With this, you will verify that the correct amount of fuel was dropped in each tank. You will fill out your paperwork and leave a copy for the station attendant.